But first, today in Canberra, Pauline Hanson might well have done Malcolm Turnbull a favour by withdrawing One Nation's support for the government's company tax cuts that they've been talking about for over 2 years now, but still haven't made them any more popular. Yes, lower company tax cuts should encourage more investment, more jobs and more prosperity. And yes, Australia's headline company tax rate looks high compared to most other developed countries. But even a 2-year sell job by the Prime Minister, well, voters haven't bought them as good news, and they understandably want the money spent on tax cuts for themselves. As well, many policy experts, including Peter Costello, have maintained that thanks to dividend imputation, the main beneficiaries of a company tax cut are foreign investors. But above all, unlike Trump's effort in the United States, the Turnbull tax cuts take 10 years to be fully realised, and even then, taxes would remain higher here than in the US and many other OECD countries. For the hefty price tag and continued political pain, I reckon it's fair to ask, are they worth it? Now, far from being the wrecking ball in our national political life that she might have been 20 years ago, Pauline Hanson has tried to engage constructively with the government in this parliament. Even today, as she finally withdrew her support for the company tax cuts, she was at pains to praise Finance Minister and Senate Leader Matthias Cormann as someone who could be trusted and who had worked tirelessly to turn the policy into law. Still, Hanson's advice was telling. If you want to make a difference now, she said, build a coal-fired power station to take the pressure off power prices and scale back immigration so that our cities can cope and we end up with fewer foreigners competing with locals for jobs and houses. Now, whatever you think of Pauline Hanson, she's got a shrewd sense of what's troubling parts of Middle Australia. Rather than a loss, the government should be smart enough to see Hanson's decision today as a chance to reset the political agenda and drop the corporate tax cuts that now can't get through the parliament and are a huge hit to their bottom line. With imminent by-elections, the timing couldn't be better for Malcolm Turnbull. It would cut off at the knees Labor's ongoing attack that the Liberals are only interested in the big end of town. There's no doubt the government has started to look better in recent weeks. The budget wasn't the bad compromise that some thought, and given all the fiscal and political constraints, I have to say it was a good effort. I am always, though, going to be tough on them in relation to savings, because unless we start to really tackle waste and tackle spending, you can forget about ever dealing with Australia's skyrocketing debt. But their political critique of Bill Shorten over the last couple of weeks as someone who supports one thing one day and something completely different the next, depending on his own political self-interest, well, that critique is starting to bite. As it stands, the contest is there to be won, but neither side has really set the terms of the battle. As someone who's watched this game now for almost 20 years, I reckon there's still too many own goals on the coalition side, and I have to say, quite a few lazy ministers who aren't using their portfolios to campaign as they should. The Turnbull government has a chance if it gets smarter about fighting on the issues that ordinary people care about rather than Canberra's latest obsession at the next election. Things like power prices, traffic congestion, rising cost of living and the seemingly never-ending erosion of Australian values. These are the issues that the government must be out in front on if they've got any chance at the next election. And if today's statement from Hanson is her last word, and the company tax cuts really are dead for the life of this parliament, the government could keep its commitment in principle, but put the money from those tax cuts into more meaningful personal income relief, or indeed into investment allowances that might boost economic activity much faster. Politics is all about dogged determination where necessary, but it's also about tactical flexibility and accepting when you're at a political dead end. The Prime Minister did this well on the Banking Royal Commission, and I reckon it's about time for political reality to prevail on the company tax cuts as well.